Oh, he was the one that was doing it.
Oh, whoa, wow. Look at that. Like, okay, no. Like, Mama was like, okay. I'm just going to test the water.
Yeah. So, yeah, so that's why my family ended up there. And then my mom ended up coming back here to take care of children. We got to make sure that this is something we could actually help them with. Because if it's out of our scope of practice, I'm going to refer them out. So I'm not trying to take people's money if it's not something I can.
What kind of phone is that, Melissa?
Samsung.
Oh, Android. See, Android. I like it though. I'm seeing Android too.
You are?
Yeah.
Good.
But those are iPhones, but they the cheapest ones because I really wasn't trying to do an iPhone.
I hate iPhone.
Right.
Me too.
I only got it because it was.
And I'll push.
Thank you.
Well, actually, we're starting now,
Yes.
so I'm gonna go ahead and push
perfect.
live. So hot mic.
Okay.
Okay, girl. Let's go.
There it is.
They feel like this one.
This is fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me fix my hair.
You look good. Actually, this is part of my
It's so
outfit, so I got it like that on purpose.
It's good.
You want to start with a song, right? Or you want to come right in?
We can come in, and then I'll go into the song.
Go to song later.
2.3, where we take great pride in personal expression of one's feelings, thoughts, or ideas. What you're getting ready to hear on this show are the opinions of the host and their guests, and they do not reflect the opinions of Hits 92.3 radio station, the brand, management, staff, their respective advertisers, parent companies, or affiliates. Now stay tuned as this show begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, it's your girl Marquita Vian, the host of the Pink Link show, where we have powerful, innovative, next level conversations with the K, because we fancy like that. Well, since it's lunchtime, we're looking forward to doing lunch with you. And it's Friday once again, and we're serving up some appetizers with our Wisdom Wiser, Entrees with Entrepreneur and Community News, the thirsts that we've redefined that'll have you fine and geared to shine, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Now, with that being said, some days we may get to stuff and skip dessert, but you'll still leave full of purpose. So we always dive right in with the Wisdom Wiser, because it's the appetizer. And so I didn't know which one to go with, but I feel like this one will just go with the show today and my guest. So I'm going to go with a healthy person has 1,000 wishes, but a sick person has only one. And a wise man said it, and I got it from Bishop saying it at church, but no, he credited somebody. But we're going to go with a wise man. And so that was just so profound for me, because you'll see why I'm getting into this as we get into the show. But just like when I had an experience back in 2020, I like to say health awareness. And so when I was in the hospital, and I was like, this is a first for me. And the only thing I could think of was getting out, getting healed, and getting healthier. And so it was something they had mentioned, with my MRI, and so it was like a spot or something on my brain, and they was like, but then it was this, and then they said it ain't that. But I'm like, okay, well, what can I do to be preventive, in this case, and not continue to just, let it overtake me, or do, pharmaceutical things that I have always been against. And so I'm very much holistic for the most part. However, if I'm in a situation I need to go to the doctor, I definitely will. But so I gotta just dive on over to my guest right now. Her name is Melissa Hergert. She is the owner and CEO of retrain Centers, right?
That's right.
So, girl, you gotta let the audience know more about you and introduce yourself as well.
Yes, I am. I am the owner of retrain Centers. We opened up over 10 years ago, 10 and a half years ago, out in Marietta, Georgia is where we started it. Yeah. So I'm not from here though. I'm from California.
I know. We're gonna get into that.
Yes.
We're gonna ask you about what are your take on the Wisdom Wiser for today. A healthy person has 1,000 wishes, but a sick person has only one.
That's absolutely correct, because when we stay healthy, all we could do is just go towards our goals and our dreams and our wishes. And when we're not healthy, we're so focused on the negative a lot of times, not just physically feeling bad, but mentally as well. So the more you take care of yourself, the more dividends are going to come to you later.
Yes, health is wealth. So
That's right.
And I always think of it, whatever you're doing today, it shows up later.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, even if you feel like you're not seeing the fruits of your labor today, they say whatever you do today shows up 5 years from now.
Yes.
So if it's, whether it's positive or negative towards your health, what you put in your mouth, what you partaking in, that's even mentally things like what are you listening to? What are you, doing spiritually, physically for your body? What are you eating, daily? All those things is part of your health, and you being able to have the fruits of that labor later in life, and that's the wealth of, you can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have your health, like, that's imperative.
It is, absolutely.
Yes. So y'all, we dive into that, and so another thing we're gonna get into, I think we should just dive into like Fumble Fridays.
Okay. Tell me what that means. Tell me.
So, fumble is like fumble the bag, somebody fumbled you. So have someone, or you may have fumbled something like something coming your way, and you was like, you didn't see the opportunity for what it was, and you fumbled it, or either you was in something and someone took it for granted and they fumbled you. So I like to ask guests, or it could be business, relationship wise. So what have you been fumbled, or you fumbled something, or what aspect of that for you?
All of the above.
Oh wow.
I mean, recently I'm working through some, I have partners all over the country, so I always want to make sure I'm doing the best by them also. And so there's times that I know that I have maybe not given them the value that I was supposed to, or shown that to them, or given that to them. So that's something I'm always working on to improve. When somebody does that type of thing to me, I actually try really hard not to take it personally. So it's one of the 4 agreements. We'll get into that later.
Girl, we always talking about the 4 agreements.
Yes.
I'm the one, y'all, if y'all been listening, y'all know I ain't gonna say that, because that's why it's been happening. I'll be like, okay, don't take things personal.
Yes.
Don't make assumptions.
Yes.
Do your best.
Yes.
And be impeccable with your words. So I got it. I got all 4 of them. Finally.
You got them. So that's, that's what I've really, really been working on lately, is just really recognizing not to take it personal and asking more questions. What is actually the issue? Because a lot of times what people say is the issue is not really it.
Exactly. You're right with that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that one with being impeccable with your words, like once I get my words, and I'm like, oh,
shouldn't have said that.
That's why sometimes I say I aim, because it's like if I say I'm gonna do it, the 4 agreements, like that's one powerful book. It stays with you. I hope y'all have grabbed that book by now. Like I ain't even get paid to say it, but it's life changing. It's very beneficial.
Yes, absolutely.
So y'all, we started off on a good note, and that's intentionally and positively. So we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back. It's your girl Marquita Vian, the host of The Pink Link on Hits 92.3 ATF, with my guest Melissa Hergert, the Brain Train CEO today.
Okay. Are you live too?
Yeah, I'm live on Instagram. I can go live on Facebook though.
I did on Facebook. So and I tagged you. So
oh, you tagged me on Facebook? Oh,
yeah.
Okay,
so
like it's on Instagram.
There we go. We got both covered.
Great, because I got both phones.
Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
They actually all left, like, at 8 weeks or so.
It's me.
Oh, okay.
It's just the song stuff.
Oh, okay.
You're tuned in to Hit 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. Go over to your Play Store and download Hit 92.3. Don't want to miss your favorite show? Click that tab in the top left-hand corner and set the alarm. You'll never miss another episode. Love all the shows and can't decide? Then scroll down and rate Hit 92.3 and also leave a message for your favorite radio personality, letting them know what an amazing job they're doing.
Yeah. And I
While
have
you're at it, go over to our Instagram page and follow us on Hit 92.3.
Yeah, you make it
3, 2, 1.
Okay, so we're back. It's your girl Marquita Vian once again on Hits 92.3 ATL, the Pink Link Show, and we have our awesome guest Melissa Hergert. She's a Brain Train CEO, and so she's here with us today. So y'all, we're gonna go for the word of the day today. And y'all know these words be challenging me, but I love a good challenge. So the word today is abstruse. Abstruse, Melissa.
I know.
Am I saying it right?
I think so.
Help me out.
Look it up myself.
Okay. So the definition of that is difficult to understand. And so since we're, brightening our horizons and our vocabulary, it's only right that we use this word in a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
You want to go first, girl?
We could use it about my business. So,
Okay.
talking about brain waves can be abstruse.
Oh.
So many people
I like that.
try to avoid it.
Yes, and she said we, so that was for both of us, y'all. So I don't have to try. And it ain't she, because she said we.
That's right.
And we ain't friends. And so, I hope you all use this word today, in your vocabulary and take us up on the challenge as well and use it in a sentence, like, hey, let's not know you learned something new on the pink link today, a new word. And now we're going to get into more about what Melissa does and where she come from. And I know she's from Cali, so I want to know what brings a Cali girl down to the south to ATL with just her suitcase and a dream. Did you have a dream?
No.
Oh, girl, well, tell me more. I want to know what was going on.
Talked about this actually.
Yes.
My mom's originally from here, and my big brother and sister were born here, but they moved to California in '82 before I was born because my sister's actually mixed. I don't know if you know this.
Yeah, because I know you have your niece is dark,
black.
black.
Yeah, both of them are. But those are my sister's children. My sister's mixed black and white. So we have the same mom, different dads.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was born here in Atlanta in the 70s to a white woman in Buckhead.
Wow.
And of course, in 74, my mom started getting all kinds of hate. So then my brother was born after that. We had the same dad. And then they took off, her and her best friend, who was also a white woman with a black daughter, took off to California and then started their life over. So actually, when I was born in California, my mom was in a homeless shelter.
Oh, wow. Because she had so where did your sister dad go?
Oh, he was a one night stand.
Oh, whoa, wow. Look at that. Like, okay, mama. Okay, like, mama was like, okay. I'm just gonna test the water.
Yeah. So so that's why my family ended up there, and then my mom ended up coming back here to take care of my grandfather, who's passed now, but she was here, and then I got involved in a really abusive relationship, and that's why I ended up here, because my best friend was like, you need to go, I'm gonna buy you a ticket, because I ended up like being broke. I lost everything because I was just making bad choices being with him. And they were my choices, so I can't blame it all on him. But I was young. I was only 24, and I thought I was in love. And then it became very physically and mentally abusive. So my best friend bought me a plane ticket to come here.
Well, thank you, best friend.
Right?
Like,
and my business partner now, too.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes. So I came and stayed. I was actually coming just for a month. That was the plan. And then I was like, I better just start my life over. That's what I did.
I'm so glad you made that decision for you, because I wouldn't say that was the main part of me coming out here, but it was one of the things, because I had done got out of my domestic violence situation, but it was like still lingering. And I'm like, I don't like this. Let me just clear myself of these premises, and I left Mississippi.
I had to. It was 9 months. I kept going back and forth from Vegas to California, driving back, get fights in the middle of the night. I drive back alone. Like it was ridiculous.
Oh,
yeah,
it ain't even worth it.
No.
So growing up out there, and was it different for your mom in Cali with biracial children, and you being in that environment?
Yeah. So my mom was on. She got out of the homeless shelter. She went on welfare. We had Section 8 housing, and then she got a job for the city working for the fire department, but like the actual offices, not a station. And she got approved to buy a home, but the home was in the hood.
Oh Lord.
I know people don't think
Right.
San Diego
And
has a
Cali-
hood,
And,
but
wait,
it does.
What part
So
of
I'm from
California?
San Diego.
Oh, San Diego hood?
Yeah, yes.
Oh, right. I'm thinking
Oh,
something.
I'm from City Heights.
Okay.
Home
I
out.
went to Roosevelt Junior High School.
Oh my goodness, yep.
Oh,
I would have gone to
wow.
Hoover High.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
my
she is-
district.
Oh yeah, Hoover, Lincoln.
Yes.
Yeah, she ain't mine. That's
I was the only white
You
girl in the
from there?
neighborhood.
Yeah, I grew up in Cali.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep, so I was the only, they call me white girl Melissa.
Wow. So how
Sound
was
like
that?
something?
Yep. So I grew up that way. I grew up riding the city bus. So at first I was going to school out in San Carlos, which is like 30-minute drive.
Mhm.
But I would ride the city bus an hour and a half since 6th grade because we moved to the hood and I still got to go to that school out in like the nicer area, I guess you would say. So yeah, I think it was, my mom made her own choices. I'm not telling all her story, but for me, my sister kind of raised me. So she's 9 years older. My mom was working full time. I was with my sister all the time. She was a manager at Montgomery Ward's portrait studio. And I used to go to work with her and help her like call people. That's where my work ethic started from, was being with my sister.
And you was like 9, you said?
Yeah, so I'm 9 years younger. So she was probably like 18. So yeah,
Right.
I was like
So it
9 or
started
10.
early, like just going to work and doing what you got to do to
That's
really
it.
basically survive because your mom
Yeah.
was doing mom.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, during that time, did you have any like mentorship from someone that you could seek, advice from? Or
No.
Girl,
No, I mean,
wow.
eventually, like I did go to so then I got a stepdad and he was an alcoholic. So my dad was a heroin addict.
Okay.
He's passed away. Then my stepdad was an alcoholic and he died when I was 15.
Mhm.
And when he wasn't drinking, he was one of the smartest people I've ever met.
Wow.
He worked for Qualcomm and he was like an electric engineer of some sort. And he worked on some of the very first cell phones through Qualcomm, which has been Sprint, but Qualcomm, all that. But when he wasn't drinking, he had his stuff together. He was making good money. So they found a Lutheran high school that they put me in. So I didn't have to go to Hoover. And so I went to a small private high school.
So he was great. It's just he was an alcoholic.
Yes. So bad that we would have to hide the Listerine because he would drink the Listerine to get drunk. Yeah. But, and it was very sad when he passed away. Like,
Right, because he tried.
Yeah.
And
he had so much trauma of his own.
That's
and
what,
I didn't
and that's
understand.
what I want to say. With people who actually do whatever addiction they do,
Mhm.
it's a hidden reason and cause behind
Yeah.
it. You just can't look at the outer external surface.
Yeah.
It's internally what they're battling and facing.
That's
so
right.
they're not just doing it just to be doing it.
Yeah,
So-
and you don't understand that as a kid. I was upset. I was like confused. I was mad about all of it. But once I was in Lutheran High, they were gonna kick me out because he passed away and my mom couldn't afford it. But then some of the other families they had,
pitched in.
and I got to
That's
stay there for the other
amazing.
years on a scholarship. Yeah.
Girl,
Yeah. It was by
that's amazing.
Choyas Lake. It's a tiny high school. I was only 15 people in my class. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but if I didn't go there, I probably would not be where I am today for sure. Some of those people are still my best friends and business partners now.
Wow. Look at God.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, just going through all of that and not really having anyone, you didn't see anyone really in business, or did you?
No.
It's like you
Besides
was in
the
the
street
hood,
selling
basically.
drugs.
Right, that's what I'm saying. You
You
was
can
in the
learn a lot
hood.
from that.
Right. So
But-
that was the only entrepreneurship that was
That was
popping.
it. My first job was down at Belmont Park of Beach, which is a roller coaster, and I went down when I was 14. He's like, I can't hire you, you have to be 15. The day of my birthday when I turned 15, I showed up. I was like, I'm ready to work now. He hired me that day.
Wow.
So that was my very
You
first
just always
job.
been a go-getter.
I've always been, because I didn't want to be like the rest of my family. All of them got
Right.
addicted to drugs. Unfortunately, my sister's in jail out in
I was gonna
California.
ask what she was.
Yeah, she got addicted
Oh.
when I was in high school, kind of all around the same time my stepdad died, and
Wow.
so that's why
unfortunate.
my nieces are here. You've seen and met them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's their mom. But you know
Mhm.
what? I'm just proud of you.
Thank you.
Like, because you can become a product and victim of your environment,
Yeah.
and then the trauma and everything. And some people, like I said, internalize those things and feel feel like, okay, well, what's the use? You know,
Mhm.
I've been through this. I'm going through this.
Mhm.
Let me, you know, drink all this stuff away,
Mhm.
and it's gonna just continue to add more chaos in your life.
Yeah.
I'm glad you chose a different path.
Thank you. Me too.
So we got to get into what was the inspiration then for you to start helping people train their brain.
Yes. Okay. Real quick. What happened was I had always wanted to be a chiropractor.
Okay.
And so then I came here and I was like, well, Life University is the best chiropractic school.
Mhm.
My grandfather always wanted me to go there. I'm like, let me just apply. And I hadn't finished my bachelor's yet because I went to San Diego State for a little bit. But anyways, I got in, and then I just started working towards finishing the undergrad stuff that you needed to do before getting into chiropractic. Well, I got into the chiropractic program. I did it for a year, and I was like, nope, I don't want to be a chiropractor. I don't want to touch people.
Right. That's how it goes. Like,
I was like,
thank you, Mark.
I love chiropractic. I love, referring to chiropractors. I believe in all of, your central nervous system being healthy. So my background through like my teens and 20s was working for chiropractors.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, well, that's where I'm going to get paid the most here in Georgia. I'm not going to go back to the restaurant, bar industry. That's stupid. So I found a job for a chiropractor over in Norcross. And he had neurofeedback brain therapy in his office. So I was like, what's that brain stuff? And so that's how I started to get into it.
It pulled you. It called you. Like,
Yeah.
What's the brain stuff?
Yeah,
I'm
I was
doing chiropractor, but I want to know more about the brain.
Yes, exactly. And I had never studied the brain. I mean, I knew about the spine and central nervous system, but I never really was like a brain nerd or anything, until I got there and I started seeing all the changes it was making for the patients of his. And I was like, I love this. This is what I'm supposed to do.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it because when it's something that you're supposed to do, it's just like, it'll call you to it. It'll come to you. It just aligns.
It all works out. Yep. So I worked for him for 2 years, and then I was like, how do I start my own business? Because I still hadn't understood how to run business. So I was like, I don't have any money. My credit was bad. I couldn't get a business loan. I was like, but I could get a student loan.
Look at you. Let me get the student.
Let me get a student loan. So I took my $4,000 student loan, like extra check, and I started my business with that.
I love that.
Mhm.
I mean, and that just shows that you grew up in the hood because, hey, student loan
You gotta
was the way
figure it out.
you get the money. Like, the advance, like, they gonna give me this and put me in there. Okay, let me see what I can do with it.
Yeah.
Get out of there.
That's it. Yeah. So that's what I did.
Wow, girl, I love it.
Mm.
So, what does a regular brain train session entails, and if someone was interested, like, what would it cost them to do a brain train?
So neurofeedback in general, it's been around a very long time, since the 1960s. It was created for seizure disorders. And so a lot of people don't know about it, but they're starting to hear more about it, especially when athletes are starting to come out talking about it. And we just got Kirk Cousins for the Falcons.
Oh, wow.
He just came. Well, we didn't get him in my office, but he does neurofeedback, and Atlanta just signed him on to play with the Falcons. And so that's huge because
more people will
talk about it. He'll talk about it. He was on a Netflix show talking about the therapy I do called Quarterback. If you've ever watched it, or you should watch it, or you could watch it.
Okay.
Anyways, so what people have to do first is come in for an assessment. So they don't just go right into brain training. We got to make sure that this is something we could actually help them with, because if it's out of our scope of practice, I'm going to refer them out. So I'm not trying to take people's money if it's not something I could help with, right?
Right.
So we have to do an assessment first, which is a recording of your brain waves. It's like a sleep study, but while you're awake.
Oh, wow.
So we put this funky cap on you, put some gel in your hair, and we record 12 different areas of the brain. So we want to see, is your brain working too fast, too slow? Is the asymmetry right, from right to left, front to back? So we check all that first. So that's usually regular prices. It comes down to 2 visits. First you get the recording, then you come back for the results and do a session of brain training. That total is $500. Now we run specials all the time, so we run ads and 50% off, $100 off. So not very often does someone actually have to pay that. And compared to other places, it's usually when you go get your brain assessed with a objective data like that, it's usually between $1,500 to $2,000 at other places. So we're probably one of the lower cost, most affordable places to get your brain health work done.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then I actually had the pleasure to go out to Meg's, one of your partners, She
Woodstock?
had the grand opening in
Yes,
Woodstock, and
you
so I
did.
seen someone actually having one.
Yes, they were doing.
was
They were
awesome.
doing a session. I think
Right.
they were doing
So I did
neurofeedback
see
session.
some of
Mhm.
that. So I love.
Yeah,
love it.
yeah. And then after that, we do come up with a package plan for people. So if it is something we could help them with, if it's attention, insomnia, things like that, then we can usually help them without medication. And they would come in and do therapy. It's about $100 a session, just like counseling. But
it's worth it because if you got insomnia, for one, I don't recommend melatonin, but some
No.
people pop it. But I think that actually makes it worse.
it can. And most people are taking too much. You know, as an adult, you're only supposed to take 3 milligrams, and they sell it in 10 milligram pills. They're actually
Wow.
making it worse for your brain. You should actually take magnesium for sleep, not melatonin.
Magnesium glycinate is
Mhm.
one that I've used or I'm gonna mess the word up, y'all, but chamomile tea.
Chamomile.
Yeah. I be like, make my chamomile tea, please. They be like, chamomile? I'm like, y'all know what I'm
That's
talking
it,
about. The
right.
one with the C, not
Yeah.
the dandelion root. Because that's another word I missed, the
Mhm.
dandelion root. I be up there using all this different stuff and I can't say some
I
of
love it.
it.
That's amazing.
But what would be the signs that will be present, if your brain isn't healthy, that you may need to either do a brain training session or either maybe go get an MRI on your brain just to be on the safe side.
Yeah. So usually most of the people that are calling us or coming to us are people that think they have ADHD. I say that because everyone thinks they have ADHD. Most
Right.
people don't. Most people have like anxiety with attention issues. Most people have like sensory processing issues, which can affect your attention. There's not a lot of people that actually truly have like ADHD, but that's okay. Anyways, so people with attention issues, people with sleep issues, anxiety, depression, concussion rehab, we do a lot of that. So anything, think about it, your brain controls everything. From our emotions to our cognitive processing, how we read, how we listen, how we process verbally and visually. So anything that you might have trouble with, sometimes we'll have people come in and say they have issues with like ringing in the ears, tinnitus. That's a common one that we get as well.
That's involved with something's going on
In the brain. It can be. If it's not an inner ear issue, so that's why I say like we have to make sure that this is something we can help them with, because if it's an inner ear issue, they need to go to like an ear doctor. But if they've already done that and it's cleared, then it's most likely neurological. The brain is too fast flowing,
Okay.
and so it causes like anxiety over arousal state, which can cause ringing in the ears.
So I'm gonna ask this. You all do the brain training. Do you all recommend them seeing a neurologist alongside of brain training?
Not
or
necessarily.
you
They
all
don't
are able
have
to-
to.
Oh,
Yeah, we
that's
can't
amazing.
diagnose. We're not allowed to diagnose,
But you can
we
assess.
can assess using that initial assessment where we record the brain activity, and then comes with a 13-page report showing your brain activity and what it all means, and we break it down for you.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
So how can one have a healthier brain?
Ooh, there's a lot of good ways. Of course, neurofeedback.
Right.
We already
Number one.
mentioned earlier, food is a big part of having a healthy brain. And back in the day, they always taught us like do low fat this, low fat that. That's like complete opposite of what we should be doing. So we should eat good fats for the brain, good proteins, things like that. Lots of water,
Yes.
of course.
And some people, let's go to the water, because
Yes.
some people take it for granted. Like
yes,
water is definitely needed for your brain, for your
Yes.
body. Like
for everything. And there is differences in types of waters. I'm gonna tell you, Dasani, don't drink it.
I don't need it.
It's so disgusting. First of all, it's disgusting, and it's actually a little bit acidic. If you did a pH test on it, it's worse than tap water. It's really bad. Yeah, it's obviously owned by Coke. They're gonna come after me. I'm just kidding. But no.
Look, disclaimer: we just saying what we don't preference.
Right. Exactly. It's just something I don't like, but you could actually test it, and I'm not all about alkaline and all that. I think it's good for you, but just having good water that's filtered and pure.
Because
is-
everything that say alkaline, everything that say vegan doesn't mean that it is.
Right.
So you have to be cautious of that. They're
Right.
trying to get the money.
Yes, exactly.
So it sells.
Yes, it does. Yeah. So food, exercise, of course, that creates good hormones in your brain when you exercise, specifically lifting weights.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of women are afraid to lift weights because they think they're going to get bulky, which is false because we don't have
Unless
enough
you're taking like
testosterone.
stuff to get bulky
Yes.
as a woman,
You're not going
lifting
to.
weight is not going to get you
No.
bulky.
No, it's really not. Unless you're taking stuff like supplements or testosterone. We don't have enough to get big and bulky. So don't be afraid of the weightlifting.
Right. It's good for your brain, ladies.
Very good for the brain.
Okay, so we've discussed how eating can help with your brain and things like that. So I hear a lot now, especially since, like I was saying, my own experience, that, you know, the gut and the brain is linked. So could you tell me more about that? Like,
yes, there's billions of neurons in your gut, in your stomach. So, and then it all communicates with each other, all with your body. So they do call it the second brain, just like you said. Yeah. And so that just shows us that when we give ourselves the good nutrition, it's going to affect the whole body and the brain function and everything. So I'm not a gut specialist by any means, but I do know, especially like when I did a degree in exercise science, and we did learn about like the different body types. And you know, if you're eating unhealthy, you're gonna have this like they call it like an apple body type, and it's usually because your gut is swollen or inflamed, and that's going to affect your sleep. It will affect all.
And if you're not sleeping like you should, that's affecting your brain.
Yes. Oh yes. Sleep is probably one of the most important parts of your brain.
I'm glad you said that, because that's what I was telling someone. I said I love to go work out, I love to eat healthy, but I said, but before any of that, I need a good night's sleep to even go to the gym. If I don't sleep good, I'm not going to even go work out.
Yeah.
Because the sleep has to be prioritized before going to the gym to lift the weight.
Exactly. Or else you're kind of doing a detriment to yourself, because your body heals, your body and your brain heals during sleep.
Yes.
So, and it doesn't, you know, a lot of people are like, they'll come in and be like, oh, I get good sleep, I slept 7 hours. But usually most people are not getting the good rhythm of sleep where they go into that deep sleep state where there's no dreaming. During that time is when your brain heals the most.
Oh, wow.
And the way you can monitor it is you can use like Fitbits or Apple Watches, but there's also a ring called the Aura Ring. I have it, I just need to charge it. And it monitors your sleep, and it's not a big old watch that you have to wear. So it's nice. It's like a little ring, and it goes with an app, and it will break down deep sleep, light sleep, REM sleep. Yeah.
I love that, because now I will say this, when I had that tea at night, or that I haven't taken magnesium in a while, but I don't get up till I get up. But I'm like, okay, I had a great night's sleep.
That's good.
So,
Yes. Also, being in the sun during the day helps your sleep at night.
Yes, that's what I was telling someone. Then, like when you get up, open your blinds so your body, if they having trouble with sleep, because I've had a few people reach out to me about sleep. Like making sure you exercising, all of that. If you're having trouble with sleeping at night, put the phone away about 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Making sure you're outside, making sure that your body and your mind knowing the difference between daylight and nighttime.
Yes.
So, because at night, that's when you form your own natural melatonin within your body to be able to get a better night's sleep. So, and have you some tea, like, people say I be sleeping, going to bed like an old lady, but no, I'm just trying to relax my mind and my body to be able to have a, healthy body and brain.
It's great to have a schedule like that. And here's the thing, most people will, like you said, be on their phone at night and be like, I wonder why I can't sleep.
Exactly.
It's because your phone, it actually causes your brain to go into
wake
fast.
up to be up.
And then in the morning, when you're waking up, you should gently wake up from deep waves, and then a little bit faster, and then finally you're in your fastest wave.
Yes.
But if you grab your phone immediately, it skips those other brain functions that cause healing and calmness. So more people will have anxiety by waking up looking at their phone right away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that is good.
Yes.
So what has been some profound results that you had a client to get just by brain training?
There's so many. I've been in business a long time, but one of my favorites is a psychiatrist, actually. She's the prescribing doctor, referred a 24-year-old male that was on ADHD meds and depression meds, and he was living at his mom's basement, just not happy at all. But he decided he wanted to come off the medication, and she was okay with that, but she said, go see Melissa, do neurofeedback. while we slowly take you off. So he worked with us. He did about 60 sessions of neurofeedback, and he had been on ADHD meds since he was in 2nd grade.
Mm-hmm.
He's now 24 on the highest dose plus depression meds,
Wow.
which those are both, and they're both opposite. So ADHD
and they
meds,
cause side effects.
yes, ADHD meds stimulate your brain. SSRIs like kind of help calm it. So you're doing two opposite things to your brain with these medications, which is
Wow.
crazy. So he came to us. Eventually, she started to reduce his meds, and he is off his meds and still off. And it's been
Wow.
6 years.
That is amazing.
That's just one of many. That's just one of many. I mean, we have a little 3-year-old out in Texas at one of our offices out there that was nonverbal autism diagnosed. Started doing neurofeedback at session 12, started counting to 10 in the chair. Now is speaking. Yeah.
That is amazing. Like, people really need to know more about this because the results are speaking for themselves.
Yeah, it's your brain. There's just, her little brain had an area where the verbal area wasn't working right. You start to strengthen it. Think of it like working out your body. You strengthen certain areas of your brain, then you're going to see symptoms decrease and your brain function improve.
Okay. Like, I'm thinking about somebody who actually needs to schedule a
Come
brain
see
training
us.
session. Even
Exactly.
myself, like, hey, I need to get me a one.
I mean, it really, we all talk about mindset and improving our mental health, but if you don't actually know truly what we call objectively, right? So subjective means you're telling us how you feel, which is what mental health bases all their diagnosis and medication prescriptions on. It's the only industry that does not use objective data, which is like doing a test, like a QEG, like what we do. It's the only industry that doesn't use objective data before prescribing meds. Like if you go to a heart doctor and say your heart hurts, they're going to do a heart test on you.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to a counselor, psychiatrist, mostly psychiatrists that prescribe the medications, and say this is how I feel, they're just going to be like, oh, try this med.
Right.
They're not going to do any like objective testing on you, like a recording. If they did, I bet you more people would be on the correct medications or off medications because we could figure out different therapies for them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a lot of those are, you know, they make money.
I know.
So they prescribe.
Yes, especially for our children. You know, schools get more funding depending on how many of the kids are on meds.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
That's why teachers, they're not supposed to, but they're always like, your kid is a disruption. You need to go get them on ADHD meds.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. They get more funding depending how many kids are on the medication.
And then the teacher's not even getting the raises they need.
I know. And a lot of times the medication's wrong, and so the kids act worse.
Act out.
Yeah.
So, lady, how did you get 22 locations across the US of A
Ooh,
doing brain training?
and we're opening some
Just coming out
more.
here with a suitcase. No plan.
No plan. Just going for it. Last year was right around before my 10th year of business. I was like, I was opening offices other places as well. So I was like, I want to expand. I want to help more people. So I opened an office down in St. Augustine. I opened one over by the Mall of Georgia. I was driving all the way, but I was doing it all myself. I opened one up in Delaware, the state of Delaware, because I had a psychologist that had an office, and I would fly up and I'd do the scans on people. And then
So you were trying to travel all over the world and do brain
do
training
it myself. That did not work.
Oh no, I'm like, no.
That was too much, way too much. And you know, I have 2 little girls. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm gone all the time. This is ridiculous. So I was like, all right, I talked to a business coach I had at the time, and I was like, how do I expand? Like, I'm thinking about looking into like franchising or something. He's like, why don't you look into licensing versus franchising? I was like, I don't even know what that means, but let me look. So there's a difference. So like Chick-fil-A is a franchise. Starbucks is actually a licensing. Yeah, most people don't know this.
I didn't know that.
So a company could actually buy licensing from you for your business model, your your image, your logos, things like that.
Okay.
And then it looks very similar to a franchise, but they have a little more freedom because they're not a franchise. So all my offices don't have to look exactly the same. They still have a buy-in fee just like a franchise. They still pay royalties like a franchise, but a lot more freedom for each of my partners or licensees across the country. So I was like, let me look into this, and then I just put it together and I announced it on Facebook, and I had 13 people reach out to me in the first few days.
Wow.
And out of those 13, 6 opened within like a few months.
Just that ratio alone.
I know.
Usually 1,300
I know.
and maybe 6.
I know. I was like, what? I was like, you guys, what? I actually had to question, like, you guys actually see what I'm doing and believe in it? Like, this is pretty cool. And at first it was going to be all women owned. And I was like, nah.
We got to broaden this thing up.
Yeah.
Like, we can't just be something.
Right.
So,
So,
man want to do it, put them in.
yeah. So I closed, Delaware. I had St. Augustine still. I had already had San Diego opened because I went back home, and the woman that helped me get here to Atlanta, she was my very first partner 7 years ago. We opened that office up.
Wow.
And we also started a nonprofit. So that was a good one. So we had, so in a year, it's only been a little over a year since I've been licensing, and we opened, 17 offices in a year.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
I'm so happy for you because I just be seeing the moves. I'm like, oh wow, I can't keep up with you.
Yeah, that's
But I'm
I can't stop. I'll be too lazy if I stop.
Right.
gotta
And it's
keep
just
going.
in you.
Yes, it is. And I
You
love
love
it. I do. And what's great is my partners also love it. They're changing lives all over the country now, and it's so
Wow.
exciting.
Well, I just love hearing your story, but we have to do is treat it's time to crack and don't call it whack. So, and that's the joke of the day. And y'all, like I had it together, but here we go. What is it?
Where is the joke?
What is the joke of the day? Like, I didn't have my highlighter, y'all. So where is the joke of the day? Oh, Lord have mercy.
I think it was on one of the last pages.
Here we go. Oh, y'all. Okay, I got it. And usually I get it in color, and I don't know what happened. So, we're back with It's Quita's Time to Crack a joke, and don't call it whack. Y'all, excuse me. So, look, brain, like we talking about brain. And I ain't joking, but now I'm about to joke. Why shouldn't you make a dinosaur mad, Melissa?
Why?
Because you get your giraffe kicked.
Stupid.
Get your giraffe kicked. You get it?
It's so silly.
I ain't doing nothing. But hey, just because I said I wasn't doing it anymore last week don't mean it won't come back.
Oh my goodness.
So yes, y'all. So that's a joke of the day, and we just had to get that in because I'm like, okay, I'm slipping. I hadn't did it. One week I actually didn't even do it. So lady, we're gonna get into some more about you, and I just want to know, what was your childhood dreams before you started brain training? What did Melissa want to do?
Yeah. Well, I mentioned earlier, I definitely want to be a chiropractor. And obviously, when I got older and got into it, I was like, no, I don't. But I did know that I was called to be in the healing services, obviously.
Right.
So I'm glad that I am doing it now. That was when you're in that type of lifestyle growing up, and it's a lot of trauma and survival all the time, it's like I was not the girl that's like, I'm gonna get married and have kids and I'm gonna do all this. No, I didn't have that. That wasn't my norm. That wasn't like something I like ever wished about. Having a dog, and I had a dog, I always had pets. Like, I don't know, I just always wanted to help people heal, definitely, which is what I'm doing now. And so
I love that.
I'm happy to do that. Yes,
I'm happy for you too. So, and just to say that you didn't see that, growing up or whatever, and to be where you are now is just profound and amazing. Like you got it up in you some kind of way.
Some kind of way.
Right.
Figured it out.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you could look at people. I said I didn't really have a mentor. My sister was a mentor when she was healthy, like her work ethic, my mom's work ethic, definitely I learned from everyone.
Everything you go through.
Everyone.
You can take something from everyone. That's what I say too. Like, you gotta look at the good.
Yeah.
What lessons can you take? Because you learn what not to do as well.
Exactly. I mean, even my dad being an addict, like he was in and out of my life. Like a couple times he would come around at Christmas or my birthday and like bring. The one gift he brought me was a stolen Sega. And I know it was stolen because the cereal thing was scratched off. I was like, oh my God, thank you. I love Sega.
Right.
I played that so much. But I did learn, like, you know, obviously that's gonna even affect your relationships when you're older as a woman, when you're dating. And I've noticed, obviously, like, the reason I'm here is because I chose someone that was unhealthy because that's what I was used to seeing in my life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because I've been telling my kids. I realized what 3 or 4 years ago, the reason why I made my choices was because what I saw and thought was okay.
Yes.
And so when you just dig into that, you're able to make better choices and
when you start
discern.
when you start taking care of yourself, your health, your mental health, like, we all come from trauma. I don't care what background. Everyone has a trauma, and there's no comparison in traumas. Like, someone from a very rich family may have some trauma that we're like, that's nothing, but that's not fair for us to say, because that's, you know, from their norm, something that affects
it's something
their norm.
that went on in that family. I don't care how much money they had. That was trauma for them.
Right. And so
if it wasn't their parents spending enough time or whatever, you know. Exactly.
And you'll see that they have a lot of the same problems as people from poor backgrounds do. They have addiction. They have, you know, unfortunately, they might not learn as quick as some of us, like, you know, that have to make it on our own. I was just talking to my partner last night about, like, I'm just letting you know, I don't know how we got on this topic, but about, like, if you get arrested, I'm not bailing you out. Like, and I don't expect you to bail me out, because growing up, I'm like, that's what we don't do that. You figure it out. You messed up, you figure it out.
Exactly.
But then, like, people from some maybe richer families be like, I'm gonna go bail him out immediately. I'm like,
exactly.
No,
you gotta figure it out. I was telling my brother, I'm like, as grown people, we have to figure our stuff out.
Yes.
It ain't for nobody else to.
And that's sometimes digging into some painful past. And we do that in the brain training as well.
Oh, wow. I love that.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to your younger self, Melissa?
Oh my gosh. Okay. When I read this, I was like, ooh, don't mess up your credit.
Hey.
That's one thing.
You can fix it.
Yes, that's true. So that's one thing. But when I really think about it, I'm like, you're going to be all right. You know, everything's going to work out exactly how it's supposed to. You just stay on the path.
Yes, I love that. And it's time and at the right time.
That's right.
Okay, so, quickly, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because we're about to wrap it up.
Oh, good. In 5 years. So I had this crazy goal of getting 100 offices by the end of this year. And I was like, hold on. I don't need that. What I need is good partners that want to change lives.
Over quantity.
Right. So that is not my goal, but maybe in 5 years there might be 100 brain train centers. I mean, we already have 22 plus another one opening next month, another one in October in our Oregon opening. So it may be in 5 years that we do have 100, and I'd be grateful for that.
Right, and I can see that happening for you because I mean, it's happening already.
That's right.
You're on that path.
That's right.
So y'all, it's the support part. So we gotta ask you, what tea do you have brewing so that we can support you, girl?
Yes, exciting news. We are actually putting our first brain health conference on. It's going to be in Orlando.
Wow.
Yes. We're shooting for 100 attendees. We have Dr. Carolyn Leaf, who's a neuropsychologist. If you look her up, she has a huge following. She's up there with, like, some of the best name, you know, Tony Robbins, that type of person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins.
So Dr. Carolyn Leaf is going to be a speaker there. It's all going to be about how to improve your health, and when you improve your health, it improves your wealth. And
say that again.
When you improve your health, it improves your wealth.
Okay.
So that's going to be in Orlando, end of October, 24th through the 27th, in a beautiful hotel down there. So we would love to have sponsors, speakers, and guests come.
Yes. So definitely support. So we skip a dessert, but we always like to leave something sweet. So we gotta ask you, do you have a recommendation, a quote, or anything that you would like to leave with the audience today?
We talked about it at the beginning. I think life-changing is reading the 4 agreements and actually practicing it. Don't just read it. I read it every time I start to take something personal. I'll listen to it on Audible again. So find a book like that. 4 Agreements is my favorite. I highly recommend it. But also there's another one, Atomic Habits, which is a great book.
I have that book.
It's a great book.
I
but you got to put it to practice. Both of them. Like, why read it if you're not going to put it to practice?
Exactly. Apply it and like, change your life.
I don't care how many books you read. If you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing with it, then what's the point?
Well, I thank you for coming out
Thank
and
you
sharing
for
your
having me.
gems and just your presence with us. It's definitely been a pleasure
Thank
as
you.
always.
You
know,
too.
the last one we did was like, ooh, it went left, but
I
this one is
know.
going right.
Great, you know.
Yes. So I thank you all for listening as well. It's your girl Marquita Vian. And as always, you are great in the life you desire, you create. So get to creating like Melissa here. And it's his 92.3 ATL, the pink link. So, girl, I did it on time. Oh,
Ooh, good. You did good.
I think this clock is 2 minutes fast.
I think so.
Because you said 4 minutes, so it was like.
Yeah, because it's 12:51 right now.
Oh, okay, great.
Good.
Thank
That was
you.
good. That was
We're going to
fun.
take some pictures.
Yes, let's take some pictures.